Welcome back to another episode of the Brew and Ink podcast. All right, and welcome back to another episode of the Brew and Ink podcast. This is SM Freehand, this is Steven, and I'm also here with Britt and B.
What's
Mooney.
up? What's up, everybody?
Yeah, and we're surviving this lockdown. We're surviving this coronavirus attack. I haven't heard Britt cough once, so
Not yet.
as my professional opinion is that he's okay. I think I'm okay too at this point.
Which is odd for me this early in the morning. I'm usually hacking up a lung, which is probably too much information for most people. But that's
Right,
it's just mostly allergies at this point.
My
the
goodness.
pollen count has been.
Down here in Georgia, we're getting the double attack. I've started wearing my dust mask more for the pollen than just to stay safe from the coronavirus. We all of our breathing apparatuses are being attacked at this point, but we're washing it down with some hot warm coffee, and I'm having a little bit of Elijah Craig whiskey to go with that. So I think we'll burn it all out.
Yeah, there you go.
We've got something special for you today. You are faithful listeners, and hopefully some of you who are becoming our Patreon fans. We've got some more of the Divergent paths, is what we called them, for the Singularity storyline. And we've got a chapter here that part of that Divergent path series. And we thought we would share them with you guys here, give you a little taste of what we were doing over there with the extra content for Patreon. So, Britt, why don't you give a little introduction as to what these episodes were, what these storylines were in regards to our last season and what we're doing now.
So yeah, we had a great idea. Actually, Steven had the idea that maybe we could write both choices. So most of you know that when we do our stories for the podcast, we do an episode, and at the end, you, the audience, gets to choose the direction for the next episode. And we've had a ton of fun with this, and I think other people have had a ton of fun with it as well, helping us choose the story, and it helps people get engaged. And but before the last season, since it kind of whittled down to Steven and I, Steven had the idea that maybe we should just write both paths, write both episodes. And so we started to do that. And that was just really fun. It just ended up being a really fun thing. And so we have been recording these Divergent paths or alternate episodes as just kind of a fun extra thing to give to our Patreon subscribers. And so that's kind of what we're doing a little bit more of today.
Yeah, the end goal is really to allow this to be more of expanded interactive experience. The one downside to telling a story with the audience is that, and then releasing it as a podcast, is that eventually at some point there's a cutoff as to your input on which choice you can make, at least within the other episodes and the other seasons it's been like that. But this way we're kind of opening it back up so that once we have all these pieces together, you as a listener or you as the reader, depending on how you're coming at this, can actually have the choice at the end of the episode to go, which way do I want to go? And maybe at some point we'll make it more of a game where you don't know which one is the divergent path. And so then you really are trying to figure out what's the actual route of the story. But, we wanted to give you guys some kind of story during these couple of weeks. We know we've been doing a lot of inner brew and inner review things, so this will get us back to kind of that story and bring us back to the Singularity, or get some people interested in going back and listening to it. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, Britt?
No, man. We've got some good ideas moving forward, and I think the next season is going to be really, really good. We might have some special guests either join us for the whole thing or maybe just an episode or two. And if you guys can't tell, which you probably can't, Stephen and I are not in the same location. We are social distancing right now,
Yep.
even though
Yep.
Stephen lives fairly close to me. But
Yeah.
we are on Skype right now, and
Yeah.
and we're doing this
We're we're in the thick of it
remotely.
here in Georgia right now. So yeah, we're staying extra safe, extra cautious. So hopefully the sound sounds good to you guys. I will try and make sure it does in the end. So without further ado, I say let's get into the storyline. Now this is Singularity. This was in response. This was the Divergent path to Chapter 6. So this would have been the fifth Divergent path. It was right after they had been trying to hide out from the pirates on Zuthras. They went into that cellar, and it was like a bomb shelter almost type thing where they're storing stuff. They were trying to hide out, but the pirates still discovered them, and they were opening the hatch. And the pirate basically reached his hand down and was offering to help them out. And we were trying to decide, do we trust him or do we not? So this path is called refusing help. The pirate's hand was still extended down the hatch into the cellar, expectant of our gracious acceptance at his offer to help. But the slight squeeze on my arm from Crystal told me everything I needed to know. I prayed this would go over well. That's okay, I said, trying to sound meek and yet confident at the same time. We appreciate the offer, but we are going to be okay here on our own. We thought you were another IIF vessel coming to finish off survivors. Praise Shiva you are not. Are they gone now? Is there any IIF left? I hope the local vernacular, my dirty civilian clothes, and blue skin were convincing enough. Did I appear to be a local who had just survived this horrific tragedy? A bleeding Crystal leaning on me for support helped sell my authenticity. Well, all right, if you say so, the pirate said, retracting his hand with a genuine look of concern. For the most part, it seems the IIF has cleared out. However, we followed one vessel out here and haven't found the ship or its crew, so keep your guard up. Don't worry, we'll find them soon enough. He stood up to walk away, but then something stopped him as a thought occurred to him. I tensed up, thinking maybe something had given me away. Turning back towards us, he scrunched his face up. I would be remiss if I didn't ask one last time. Are you sure you don't need any help? The lady there looks like she could use some stitches, and we've got decent medical facilities aboard the slag tree. There ain't no med bay tanks, but we've treated worse with what we've got. He pulled up his right pant leg, revealing an all-bionic leg below the thigh. This time, Crystal shook her head and said, No, thanks, I'm okay. I need to find my family and make sure they're all safe. Resting his hand on his holster belt, he sighed and said, Well, if you change your mind, we'll be here past the evening meal. Then we'll be off again to another system. Chances are most of your family is already aboard the slag tree. I let out a sigh of relief as he walked away for good this time. Apparently, I had been holding my breath. I motioned for Crystal to climb the ladder, and I helped her keep steady on the way up. She was still pale and faint from all her blood loss. As I pulled myself up and out the cellar hatch, Jin spoke up from the tablet under my arm. Is the coast clear? She said. Yes, I think so. What's your status? Are you still hidden out of sight? Affirmative, Captain. Well, for now at least. What do you mean for now? There is a small band of pirate scouts doing a pretty thorough sweep of the area. They are working their way further outside the circumference of the dome. I would say that I have about 30 minutes before they circle around and are right on top of me. Slag, that's not a lot of time. And even if we made it back there before they discovered you, they would for sure see us once we took off. I weighed out our options. On one hand, I had Crystal, injured and had just refused help from the only people who had medical aid. The same people that were actively looking for Jin and would pursue us if we tried to book it out of here. On top of that, there was not enough room for two people in the tiny cockpit of the Phoenix fighter drone. I tried to mask my worry for Crystal, but something gave me away. What's wrong, Mitch? What's the plan? I don't trust these pirates. Something feels, I don't know, off about them. And I don't trust your AI either. I'm telling you, she led those pirates right to us. I think we need to ditch both parties and find our own way off this planet." I hesitated, prepared to argue Jin's innocence. But when she saw my hesitation, she stopped and turned to look at me. Gazing at me with big, pleading eyes, she drew in close, placing one hand on my chest. "Please, don't leave me alone here with these pirates, and don't ditch me for some inanimate artificial intelligence either. I am a living, breathing human female right here in need of your help." She was laying it on thick. This was not the first time she had tried this type of manipulation. For a moment I gave in, wrapped my arms around her, and pulled her into a tight hug. My instincts wanted to play her game, to shelter and protect her in her helpless state. But I was not swayed. Also, Jin was watching everything. I heard her audibly clear her digital throat. With the final reassuring squeeze, I gently pushed Crystal away. "Look, I'll help get you to wherever you are going, but then I have to go save Jin. She's too important to lose. She may be the key to stopping atrocities like this from happening in the future." A look of pain and defiance washed over Crystal's face as she realized her innocent pleading had not worked, that I was, in fact, still ditching her for an artificial intelligence. She then tried a more brazen approach, placing a hand on my neck, her thumb lightly stroking my ear. "Look, old man, you got a lot of life still ahead of you. I could make you happy. Stay with me. Keep me safe from those pirates, and I'll be forever in your debt. I can make a man like you happy for the rest of your life." I tried pulling away, but she grabbed hold of my belt and pulled closer. Giggling at my discomfort, she said, "Or just a short while, if you're not the commitment type. But going with the AI, well, I imagine you'll have a much shorter life expectancy. And I know she can't satisfy you in any of the ways I can." She punctuated this last phrase by running her finger down the center of my chest, ending at my belt and giving a light tug as she pulled away. Pulse crap. She drove a hard bargain, made even harder to refuse as she walked away, swaying her hips with intent for me to see all she was offering. My blood flow quickened as I considered all she offered. She could make me happy, satisfy me in ways an AI never could. If I went with Jen, I would have a much shorter life expectancy. But I had already made up my mind. I struggled to get the words out, fighting against desire, but somehow I managed. "Thanks for the offer, but I have made up my mind. I will see to it that you get where you need to go, safely. That much I can do for you. Where should we go?" Her sweet, innocent look transformed into hurt and betrayal. "Don't bother. I'll be fine on my own. You have fun with that artificial relationship of yours. It's your funeral." She turned and stormed off over a pile of rubble that was once some sort of restaurant. "Well, can't say I'm not glad to be rid of her," Jen said after Crystal disappeared over the building's refuse. "I can't help but think she might be trouble for us," I said. "In her emotional state, I think she may hold a grudge." "Captain, those pirate scouting parties are getting closer. We need to figure out a plan." "I'm coming to you, Jen. I'm thinking we just make a break for it. These pirates have their hands full tending to the wounded and digging through the wreckage. We should be able to make it." "Okay, I'll prep the taiko so we can hit the fold ring without a delay," Jin said. "See you soon, Jin." I tucked the tablet under my arm and took off towards where I had stashed my spacesuit near the domed exit. I quickly discovered it was no longer there. Pulse crap. "What's that, Captain?" "My suit is gone." Just then someone began applauding. Stepping out from behind the dilapidated building came a small group of pirates, smirking as they approached me. One of them, a brown-skinned female with a bionic arm from the elbow down, held up my suit. "Well done, Redalt," she said. "You were right. The slagging IIF pilot would come back looking for his suit." She held the suit so that the IIF insignia was visible for everyone to see. That's when I noticed Crystal was with a group of survivors mixed in with these pirates, her eyes slits of rage. "Look, I can explain," I began. "Oh, I'm sure you can," the brown-skinned woman said in a mocking tone. "But can you explain to all the innocent dead people as to why you killed them without mercy, without provocation?" "You see, that's the thing. I didn't kill them. I came here to try and stop this. I was sent to terraform this planet for development, but I refused to do it when I discovered the colony. The IIF wants me dead just the same." Sounds like a believable story, but I think there's more to it. Go on, tell me what else you're hiding. Just then a call came over the woman's wrist comm. Captain Nisha, we found the ship. Its camotech is like none I've ever seen. This is going to make for a great tech salvage for the slag tree. Copy that. Proceed. Then turning to me, she added, anything you want to say before we slag your ship? But it wasn't my voice that responded. Wait, don't do this, Jin called out from the tablet under my arm. We have important information that could help take down the IIF. Please hear us out and we might be able to work together. Nisha's eyes were wide with intrigue. My, what do we have here? She reached for the tablet, and I instinctively drew back. I got a punch from her bionic arm that cracked a few ribs. So, you also have a stolen IIF-issued artificial intelligence. Which version is this? The KRX 2020? The AN68A1L? I am J26I-114NN, and you have to listen to us. We are here to try and help these people. Nisha chuckled. I don't have to listen to anyone, sweetheart. I'm in charge here. Then she said into her wristcom, don't destroy the ship. I want the AI inside removed and isolated. Who knows what system she's already infected here. Turning back to me, she grabbed my head and looked me straight in the eyes. You're going to answer all my questions. You got that? She pushed me full force with her cybernetic enhanced arm towards their ship. I stumbled to the ground at the feet of her men. Take him aboard the slag tree, fit him with restraints, and hold him in the interrogation room, she said, while tucking Jin's tablet under her arm. Yes, Captain Nisha. As I was dragged up the ramp onto the ship, Crystal ran up and slapped me across the face. The pirate struggled to hold her back as she yelled curses at me. You did this? I should have never trusted you, IAF scum, she spat in my face. Her spatter rolled down my cheek until they kneeled me down in the middle of the main quarters. I was surrounded by armed pirates and survivors in various wounded stages. Crystal glared hatefully. All their guns were trained on me. Captain Nisha walked up, grabbing a handful of my hair in her bionic hand. Look what we brought before you. One of the IIF bastards responsible for your people's suffering. Now, you get to choose his fate. So that was the end of that. And obviously there are no choices at the end because
good job, good job, good job. Yeah. Man, you went for the Jezebel kind of moment there. You just went for that.
Well, I was trying to highlight the differences between us as humans and what our bodies actually physically respond to, like the reasons why we hold life in value and in regards. We're able to share things like love and passion, desire, even just the warmth between two people that you don't get from being with a device or an artificial intelligence. I really wanted to up the ante there in his decision that he had to make. Like, I am getting older, and I like the opportunity to actually settle down with someone. He's got, he had lost a job. His home had been blown up by this point. It could have been a new beginning right there with her, if he had gone that route. But he weighed out, what is actually important here, and didn't let, his own desires or his own needs, his own physical human nature affect his decision making.
Yeah, good. No, I think you're right. It did a good job highlighting that difference between what he was giving up to go with Jin. Like, there's kind of a whole nother level of something he was giving up to go with Jin, and make that sort of sacrifice, make that sort of decision. And it highlighted again his kind of commitment to her as an AI,
right?
Which kind of we wanted to make the season short, so we didn't get to explore everything we probably could have explored,
right,
with some of that relationship. So yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about these alternate episodes or divergent episodes, is we get to explore some more of that. We get to explore some other choices or other realities that we didn't get to in kind of the main storyline.
Right. Now, the reason why you guys are hearing a random chapter from the extra content from last season's story is that these are now going to be available for you guys to listen to on our Patreon page. So we've got a couple different levels of membership there. The way you can get there is Patreon. That's patreon.com/Brew and Inc. INK. So patreon.com/Brew and Inc. And tell them what they'll find when they get to that page, Britt.
Well, there are going to be a lot of different options from, what does it start with, $5 or $1?
We started $1.
$1, and basically,
$1.
with for $1, I think we just say your name. We might publicly mock you. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
There are behind the scene pictures that they can get as
Ooh,
well, which
ooh,
are just pictures
yeah.
of
And if
Britt and I that
just
we've been
yes,
taken.
and then it goes from different
Yep.
levels of different swag that you get,
Yep.
different episodes and extra content that you will get
Yep.
if you sign up every month. If you sign up for a monthly account, and
We've got 9 different levels of
9 different
tiers.
levels.
Starts with $1. You get behind the scene pictures that show up on our Patreon page. You get shout outs on Instagram, or a shout out on Instagram, and a shout out in one of our story episodes. So we'll say,
Yeah.
hey, thank you, Patreon, so and so, anonymous, this and that,
Yep.
and you'll hear your name. We have a $3 a month level, which gives you everything from the first level. You also get a select topics for discussions. So maybe you get a vote on one of our Interbrew reviews that we're going to do, things like that, a movie show. So we've got 1, 3, 5, 10, 20, 35, 50, 75, and 100. On some of those higher levels, starting with like $20 a month, you start to get cool things like Brewing stickers and a Brewing mug. At the $35 level, you get your own specialty bag of coffee that we have hand selected for you guys. At the homebrew level, $50 a month. You want to say something about the coffee?
Well, I was just going to say we hand selected every bean just for you.
Yeah, every bean. We
Their
want
story, they are guaranteed to help you with any story that you are either
Yes,
watching,
yes.
listening, reading, anything.
We injected each bean with inspiration.
We did.
The homebrew level, $50 a month. If you sign up for the homebrew level, you guys are a rock star, and we love you. And you get everything from the previous tiers, so the mugs, stickers, the coffee, but you also get a hat, which would be cool. And you get a homebrew recipe that I have. It's one of my own personal homebrew recipes for brewing beer. So for any of you guys that are into homebrew brewing, or you just want to see what a recipe looks like, you get that as well. And if we're feeling feisty enough, you will get to name a character in one of our stories. So anytime we put an option out there for naming a character, the people that are at the homebrew level would have a chance to have their input on that. So probably be a poll, or maybe we just select one person from that level and just say, hey, it's all you get to pick something. The $75 a month level, we give them a nice little polo.
Oh, the polo.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah,
polo,
that's the polo.
and a nice little pint beer glass.
Mm-hmm.
And then $100 a month. If you do this, you're awesome. If you do it every month, you're phenomenal, and we'll be able to make so much more content based off of that level of patronage. But at the $100 a month level, you get all that stuff. You get a hoodie. We're going to put together a box of 4 cans of craft beer from local Georgia craft breweries. And if you're so inclined, you may get to be a guest on a podcast episode that we do, a special podcast episode where we get to ring you up and ask you who you are and why you love us so much.
And part of this is to raise money for us, as you said, to do extra content, to help us with some of the financial obligations of doing a podcast. We try to do as bare bones as we can, but it still costs money. It still costs, there's still some finances involved, and we're not doing any, ads or anything. And we want to give more content away. But on a whole other level, once that stuff is taken care of, and again, that's kind of a bare bones operation here. I mean, we're not,
Right.
we don't have, huge cameras and ready to go, big kind of graphics. We don't have like computer graphics coming in every time we talk or
Yeah.
something.
We're not paying anyone to edit our stuff.
Right. And so, but once we get to that level where some of that stuff is taken care of and on a regular basis, then we're really looking to also do some things for writers. We're also looking to do scholarships to writing conferences. We're looking to do our own kind of writing retreats where
Yep.
where a published author, i.e. me, and maybe some other published authors and people might join us to give instruction and encouragement and things like that. And we want to do that for free for writers. And so those are the kind of things that we're looking at doing too once we get kind of past that initial covering our expenses area. Because a big part of this podcast is to encourage good writing and encourage writers and encourage
Inspiration.
So
Yeah.
so there's a whole nother level of that. So yes, we be very appreciative that you're helping us on that mission to help writers. And really, when you think about it, some of you may have seen the meme that's been floating around out there that during this time of shelter in place, people are binging shows, they are watching movies, they are reading books.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all this entertainment.
Yeah. People are laying heavily upon the arts to
They're
keep
laying
them
heavily
sane.
on the arts, and people are excited when Andrew Lloyd Webber is letting people watch his musicals for free or something. There's
Right.
all these things that's happening, and the arts are there to inspire us, to get us to think outside the box and all of these things. And so just as a part of this time that we're in, it just highlights to me the importance of good story, of writing good stories that matter. And so that's kind of another level of what we want to do with the Patreon page.
Yeah, all joking aside, and in all seriousness, if you guys give at any level, we're going to be completely and 100% grateful, and we are looking forward to being able to share in this podcast endeavor with you guys, our faithful listeners, that you guys will now have even more of an opportunity and a chance to help us create and develop. And it's always been about that, like doing it with you guys, giving you guys choices, giving you guys options, letting you be on this journey with us. So I think that's it for this episode.
I think that's it. We can't clink our mugs.
No.
We'll have to virtual clink our mugs.
Yeah. So raise a glass to inspiration.
Clink.
And stay inspired, guys.